Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Chapter number 158 says, باب الإسراء بالجنازة. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال: أسرعوا بالجنازة فانتقوا صالحة فخير تقدمونها إليه، وإن تقوا سوى ذلك فشر تضعونه عن رقابكم متفق عليه. وفي رواية لمسلم: فخير تقدمونها عليه. وعن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه قال: كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول: إذا وضعت الجنازة فاحتملها الرجال على أعناقهم فإن كانت صالحة قالت قدموني، وإن كانت غير صالحة قالت لأهلها: ويلها أين تذهبون بها؟ يسمع صوتها كل شيء إلا الإنسان، ولو سمع الإنسان لصاعقه. رواه البخاري. Rushing, hastening, moving quickly, fast with regards to the burial. Not taking your time, not exerting a temperament, patience, but moving quickly, hurrying up with regards to the janazah. The burial of the deceased Muslim should not be delayed or deferred, nor should there be any waning in the time between washing, shrouding, prayer, and burial. It is recommended and or obligatory or recommended to rush with the janazah. So that would mean, and that would include all other means of logistics. ما لا يتم به الواجب إلا به فهو واجب. Based off of the maxim, if there's something which is obligatory and can only be done and performed by another means, then that means also becomes obligatory. An example of that is New York City, where's the closest, easiest place to bury a Muslim. Quite a distance. Long Island, Newark, at least hour, 2 hours regarding traffic and distance. So that would require for Muslims to do whatever they can to shorten that distance, to bridge that gap. Because if it's mandatory to hurry up, but now we have at least, we know for sure, just off of the directions, it's at least 2 hour drive. Holland Tunnel, at least an hour and a half, depending on what time it is. It's impossible for you to rush and to hasten. It's just too far. So that would make it obligatory upon the Muslims to do whatever they can to having the lot prepared, having the ride prepared. Anything which is a means of moving, hurrying up, also takes the ruling of actually hurrying up. ما لا يتم به الواجب إلا به فهو واجب. The means takes the ruling of obligation if the obligation cannot be performed without the means. Everybody clear on this? So if it's obligatory for a person to get married, then that would make it obligatory for him to do what? To establish the what? The means. The means now take the ruling of the ibadah. You guys with me or not? The means now takes the ruling of the what? Of the ibadah, water. You can't make wudu unless you have what? There has to be some way of transporting, storing the what? The water. So transporting, storing, all of those things now become what? Wajib. It's fard for you to pay the water bill. It's fard for you to have good plumbing pipe system. It's fard. And that's because you can't make wudu unless you have وهكذا ما لا يتم به الواجب إلا به فهو wajib. So now this worldly thing takes on the same ruling as the spiritual thing. So rushing forth for the janazah is first and foremost. Why? Why aren't we allowed to let the janazah sit and stay for 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, so on and so forth? The explanation is in the hadith that the author mentioned. The first is reported by Abu Hurairah. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Asri'u bil janazah." He said, "Rush forth, hasten with the janazah." And that is because فَإِن تَكُوا صَالِحَةً, if the deceased Muslim is righteous, فَخَيْرٌ تُقَدِّمُونَهَا إِلَيْهِ. Then it's no need for you to delay that Muslim from reaping those rewards. Hurry up. It's like my paycheck on Friday. Give me my money. No, just sit, just wait. I'm retiring. This is the money for me to retire. This is my reward. I just won a championship. You're supposed to do what? The reward is supposed to be what? Hastened. It's not supposed to be any unnecessary delay. When taqu, the hadith states, siwa dhalika, and if the deceased Muslim is other than righteous, meaning wicked, then فَشَرٌ تَضَعُونَ عَنْ رِقَابِكُمْ, then you need to hurry up and get in that evil off of your shoulders. وَلَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. Think about that. If it's a good servant, you rush forth to get them their reward. And if the servant is other than that, we don't know, then at least we're what? You want to get rid of it. You get some grease or some dirt in your hand, what do? Quickly. You slaughter an animal, the blood is pure, but you still want to what? You want to get rid of it, and you don't want it to just sit there and linger on your body. Alright? And this hadith is agreed upon by Bukhari and Muslim. And that's very profound statement with regards to you freeing yourself from that negative energy. The negative energy, Allahumma musta'an. Next hadith is reported by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu. The Prophet ﷺ used to say when the janazah was placed down, and then the men would pick up the body, they would carry the body. فَإِنْ كَانَتْ صَالِحَةً, if they were righteous, قَالَتْ, then the janazah speaks. And the janazah is a word for the funeral process, and it can also be the word for the actual Muslim himself, the deceased. So the janazah, the Muslim, the soul, it says, قَدِّمُونِي قَدِّمُونِي, hurry up. We can't hear it, but it speaks and it says, hurry up. What's taking you guys so long? Put me in the grave. When كانت غير صالحة, and if it's wicked, قالت لأهلها ويلها أين تذهبون بها. And if it's not so righteous, it says, woe to it. Where are you taking it? وهذا الأسلوب يسمى بأسلوب الالتفات. لأن المفروض ويلي أين تذهبون بي. وإنما the hadith is supposed to say woe to me, woe to I, where are you taking me? But instead the narrator, he said woe to it, where are you taking it? And he didn't even want to pronounce it. Like Abu Talib when he passed away, huwa ala millati Abdul Muttalib. Even though the narration was that Abu Talib said what? I die upon the way of Abdul Muttalib. But he didn't even want to say the words. He didn't even want to quote it. Alright, that's obviously a well-known style in the Arabic language. Waylaha. The pronoun is going to third person, singular. Here, where are you taking it? But in actuality, the janazah is the thing that's what? Speaking. So it's supposed to say, Wayli. Yeah, woe to me, woe to I. Where are you taking me? But it doesn't stay, it says here. That's a long discussion in itself. Hadith that states, يَسْمَعُ صَوْتَهَا, everyone and everything hears the janazah speaking, except for humans. Except for humans. And if humans heard the janazah saying this, لَصَعِقَ, they would pass out. People wouldn't be able to bear it. If they could hear the wicked person at the time of death and burial, they wouldn't be able to bear it. And this hadith is collected by Imam al-Bukhari. So therefore, what is the ruling on delaying a janazah? Is it lawful, or does the janazah have to be done immediately? Is it lawful to allow the janazah to sit for half of a day or a day, let alone 2 or 3 days? Obviously, the way that we live our lives, it's not as simple as it was back then. Things were easier, far simpler. Things are very complicated nowadays, especially if there's a crime involved or any type of murder or manslaughter involved. So to release the body from the coroner's office takes how much time? To preserve the hearse takes how much time? To contact the funeral, it takes time. So all of those things have to be taken into consideration. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Is no sin upon you if it's out of your hand and beyond your control. Can you delay the janazah for 2 days for your relatives to come from Bangladesh or Guyana or Chad or Palestine or wherever else you hail from? Can you delay the janazah for 1 day or 2 days for more people to come? Or can you ship the body to Bangladesh or Palestine? Al-Muhim, we know that the janazah should not be delayed. However, some scholars have said that it's lawful to delay the janazah a day or two for more righteous people to come and to pray over the Muslim. For more righteous people to come, and we previously read in the chapter about the excellence of takfir, having a lot of people to pray. Many more people testifying and begging Allah to forgive and have mercy upon a deceased Muslim. So some scholars have allowed this with that condition. Not just for show or family, but the intention of more righteous people. I'm getting on the next flight. There's no flights. I'm coming tomorrow. I couldn't come from Colorado except on Thursday. I couldn't come on Wednesday. Some scholars have allowed that. As far as shipping the body outside of, from where the Muslim has died, that shouldn't be done, even though some scholars have also allowed that. But for sure, that shouldn't be done. Person says, I want my husband to be buried with his father or mother back home in India or in Nigeria, where we come from. I don't want to be in this Kafir country. Now, obviously, everybody has their own, feelings, but don't you find it a little hypocritical that you lived in this Kafir country for all of those years? You made all of this money, you had all of this good life, but you don't want to be buried there. If it's so bad to be buried there, maybe that's telling you what? You shouldn't have been there in the first place. So if you're uncomfortable with dying in a situation, then in most cases that situation is what? It's a bad situation in most cases. And this is some of what is said to people who suffer from addictions to certain things, certain acts. You say, would you be okay if you died and your family found you like this? Of course not, I wouldn't. So maybe you shouldn't be involved in that. So that's a long discussion in itself, let alone people thinking and feeling that the prayers can only be made on someone or for someone if they're physically there. Or doing some other type of innovative practices with regards to the janazah. So where the Muslim dies is where the Muslim should be buried. However, some scholars have allowed the shipping of deceased Muslims as long as the body is going to be protected. As long as the body is going to be protected. But the way people do it in most cases in America, Allahu Alam, from what I've seen, they just do it too much. And the first thing, ship. It's a huge, big business. And obviously, if you're shipping the body, in most cases, you're not going to have the ability to what? To rush it. To rush it to the janazah. So there's room, according to those scholars, with regards to local janazah for a few days, and with regards to shipping the janazah for a day or two, with those purposes. Some ulama have allowed that, but it's best, what? Not to. This hadith, the second hadith, Hadith Abu Sa'id, it shows us and it proves to us that there's life in the grave, and there are punishments in the grave, and rewards in the grave. Both hadiths show. Abu Hurairah and Abu Sa'id's narration. Qaddimuni. Hurry up, push me forth. You're taking too long. Because the Muslim knows that in the grave there's going to be rewards. So there's fitna of the qabr, the questions, dammatul qabr, the tightness of the grave, and then there is punishment or reward in the grave. We'll stop here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.